Hey everybody, it's Dr. Kadisha, your board certified emergency medicine physician. My best-selling book, Help Us Help You in the Emergency Room, my comprehensive first aid kit, the mobile MD kit, and my personal safety kit for cold and flu and other viruses, and the mini mobile MD kit all help us to feel better, be safer, and better prepared for emergent medical situations. And as an ER doctor, I see a lot of work related injury. I think so much that I'm going to become the workplace safety doc. I'm seeing strained backs, numb hands, wry necks, smashed fingers, things like that, to the point that I feel I need to bring you some information on repetitive strain injury, and hopefully you all will be able to join me in this discussion because so many millions of us are affected by workplace injuries that I'm sure somebody has an experience, somebody has some advice that they would like to share. So why don't we get started in a couple minutes? And it's so much information. I had to take notes. I couldn't just I'm not just relying on injury. I'm sorry, on experience. I'm bringing you some facts, and anyone who's joining the discussion, definitely make yourself known. I would love to see you in the comments because I don't want this to just be a lecture. I would like this to be a discussion because everyone has something to share. So why don't we just give this a couple of minutes? Okay, just give it a couple minutes more. I know I'm supposed to go on at 6 p.m. Central Time today, but I swear, when it comes to leaving the ER, all you have to do is, plan to do something right after a shift and hear the ER gods laugh at that. So, yeah, and I'll tell you what kept me after my shift at a later time. But here we go. So we'll start with some stats about repetitive strain injury. And just note here that I have a freebie for you. It's 10 ways to be safe and well during this pandemic because, as we know, the pandemic continues. So, Dr. Fauci said that we'll probably be wearing masks in 2022. So why not get a review of how to be safe and well for some more months to come, and then see what else I have in store for you at drkadisha.com. That's drkadisha.com. So why don't we start with some stats? So in the United States, about 1.8 million workers are affected by repetitive strain injuries each year, and it's an abbreviation is RSI, repetitive strain injury, RSI. About 600,000 workers take time off each year to recuperate and treat these RSIs, these repetitive strain injuries. So 1.8 million workers are affected in the U.S. per year, with 600,000 of them. So that's about a third of them taking time off to recuperate. And then about 1 in every 50 workers has symptoms of repetitive strain injury. So even if they might not be afflicted by it, their level of productivity or activity isn't affected, they still have some kinds of symptoms, and we'll talk about those. About half of people who work with computers suffer from symptoms of repetitive strain injury. And more alarmingly, even children who use computers frequently can suffer from that similar discomfort to adults. according to an Australian study. And it's found that 60% of children who use computers often complain of some kind of hand or wrist discomfort. And wrists are the most common repetitive strain injury trouble spot. A survey on RSI trouble spots found that wrist pain is the most common point of pain out of all injuries, with the wrist being about 69% of those injuries, fingers being about 29%, forearms being 23%, and thumbs being 20%. So it's wrists, fingers, forearms, and thumbs in that order. And that's among the percentage reported by workers suffering from RSI, or repetitive strain symptoms. So, and so it's not just the workers who are affected by this. Of course, the first focus is going to be on the person who is suffering from these symptoms. But the next person that you might consider, the next elephant in the room, is the employer. Repetitive strain injury is easily manageable if caught early, but refusing to acknowledge the condition or doing the bare minimum to alleviate it can lead to high costs in the form of low productivity amounting to millions per year, sick days from recovery and hospital visits, and fees paid to the employee if the employer or the work conditions are at fault, and paying and training temporary employees to fill in for those injured and convalescing employees. And that can add up to, according to one study, about 5.4 million working days lost to sick leave. 5.4 million working days lost to sick leave. And the worst case scenario is losing your job forever. It's not the worst case scenario, but as far as productivity and employment, 6 workers every day lose their job forever because of repetitive strain injury. And who else is at risk? We already know that folks who use the computer frequently are at risk for repetitive strain injury. Well, other folks are too, including agricultural workers due to repeat wrist twisting, such as weeding, that can strain your tendons and other soft tissues of the wrist. Video gamers constantly hammering away at a controller or a keyboard can quickly wear on tendons and muscles. And builders, of course, that's obvious. The repeated wrist turning, such as laying on mortar or, loosening or tightening up screws and bolts, that can make wrists sore and painful. In addition to, any heavy lifting, pushing, pulling, or, repeated heavy amounts of doing that kind of thing, that can also lead to repetitive strain injury. And so what are the symptoms that we might experience if at the onset of a repetitive strain injury? Well, we'll start with the hands. One is like specific and clear damage to the tissue, like swelling or inflammation. So swelling and constant pain that you might see is related to work that resolves over the weekend. Say you work Monday through Friday and you're in pain Monday through Friday, but then you notice over the weekend you start to feel better. By Saturday afternoon, your symptoms have subsided and they're gone, say, by Sunday night. Number 2, another type is general pain and discomfort with no clear external signs. And again, this can happen due to repetitive activities that overuse our muscles, poor posture, just as in general, that reduces blood circulation to the arms, Cold temperatures. A lot of work environments need to be cold for the sake of the product or the equipment to keep the equipment from overheating. Those cold temperatures can also bring on tissue and tendon irritation, inflammation, and pain because of the drafts or the air conditioning, which doesn't help with our mobility and flexibility. And, this stress and stress from this and other sources can cause muscle tension. Carrying loads repeatedly over a long period can cause muscle tension and spasm. And then, say, in response to the stress, you start smoking. And smoking can adversely affect blood flow, which definitely interferes with healing from musculoskeletal injury. So it's almost like a vicious cycle. You smoke to relieve the stress, but smoking compromises our circulation, and circulation, blood flow brings healing to those aching, inflamed tendons, muscles, ligaments, and things like that. So, we're back to, considering all those factors and all those things going on, it's making a perfect storm to culminate in symptoms of the hand and wrist. And you might complain of or experience rather weakness in your hands or forearms due to that. Aches in at the wrist joint, tenderness in your muscles and joints, or numbness that makes holding items difficult, like your grip strength might be reduced, and then just swelling to the affected area. And you might not even notice it, but when you hold up one hand against the other, then you actually do see the swelling. So there are stages of repetitive strain injury. Number one, stage one is mild. Symptoms only show up, excuse me, during the workday. Stage two is moderate. The symptoms show up earlier in the workday. So say you're back to work on Monday morning after a weekend off, and you're noticing that the pain is starting now by 11 a.m., where in the past it used to start around 2 p.m. Now it's getting earlier and earlier during the day. That's stage two of repetitive strain injury. And then stage three is severe. The symptoms are constant even away from work. So even over the weekend where you have to do errands for home or gardening or things like that, you can't do it because of the injury that you sustain at work. So that's stage three. So what are things that we can do about it? Because I want to keep this short. And, if we want to talk about that more, you can in the comments. We can do that in the comments. Let's see. And welcome to who's there watching. Definitely make yourself known in the comment. So what the best thing to do regarding repetitive strain injury is prevention. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's worth a pound of cure. Why? Nothing's better than not having the affliction in the first place. So, say you're sitting for long periods of time at that desk. Your hands, and wrists are sore and numb. Your low back is hurting. Prolonged sitting can contribute to degenerative disc disease. You've heard about those bulging discs and things like that. That condition can be brought on over years and worsened by prolonged sitting or standing. So what do? You stand up and stretch regularly. Set reminders if you can't remember. Set a timer to stand up and stretch every hour or so. And welcome folks who are coming in. I'm Dr. Kadisha, your board certified emergency medicine physician. We're talking about repetitive strain injury, or RSI, that afflicts millions of people every year, costs employers millions of dollars every year because it costs millions of days of work lost every year while poor employees are recuperating, getting therapy, following up. And then employers also have to hire and train temporary employees in their place. So this is a very common and costly condition that I wanted to discuss, because if it's not you, I'm sure you know someone who has suffered some kind of repetitive strain injury. So we're talking about, if you're spending hours and hours sitting, worsening your discs. Hey, Patrick, thank you so much for coming. Good evening. Definitely share any concerns or experiences or advice that you might have in the comments regarding repetitive strain injury. So stand up and stretch. Do it once an hour. Stretch, bend, get those joints moving, get the blood flow going. Because why? Again, blood flow brings healing. Blood flow brings healing, including healing from musculoskeletal injury or micro injury. Make sure that your workstation is ergonomically optimized. That could be include the kind of chair you're using, the kind of keyboard or mouse that you use, the angle at which your keyboard is oriented, things like that. The way in which your monitor might be oriented, so that you don't have to cock your head or hold your head in a particular way. There might even be a way that, like a stool that you can put your feet on to orient your feet, just for better alignment with the spine as well. So stand up and stretch regularly. Make sure your workstation is ergonomically optimized. And again, quit smoking. I know that it's like a vicious cycle. You got stressed at work. You know that the work that you're doing cannot be good for your body. It's good for their business, but it ain't good for your body. And so what might you do? You might start smoking, eating more, drinking more, to comfort yourself. But smoking compromises blood flow, which compromises our recovery from musculoskeletal injury. Our ligaments, our tendons, and our muscles need good blood flow to carry in oxygen and nutrients and antioxidants, and to carry away the waste that the muscle might create due to its functioning. So quit smoking. We're not just talking about heart disease, cancer, and stroke. We're talking about healing from musculoskeletal injury. So Dr. Tanya Lowe says her watch vibrates every hour to remind her to get up and move around. Perfect. A lot of these, like Fitbit, watches, those things like that, they do vibrate on your wrist to remind you to get up and move. Dr. Tanya also says, I need a stool under my feet. It's a squatty potty for her desk, right? It helps you to hold your feet, right, in a certain way so that it's good for your back. So so look at your watches. A lot of people have Apple, excuse me, Apple watches and Samsung watches and Fitbits, things like that. It might be vibrating, and you've ignored it. You might be ignoring that vibration. It's telling you to get up and move. So I know I get desensitized to my Fitbit when it vibrates, and that's just a reminder to pay attention. Excuse me. Another thing you can do is take a break. If you're feeling tired, don't sit there and stress about how you can't get your work done. Take a break. If you're feeling tired, don't wait for symptoms to begin. Get up, refresh yourself, hit reset on those muscles, tendons, and ligaments so that you can get back to work in a better way. So if you're tired, distracted, you're achy, don't just sit there, because you're not going to get much done. Get up, move, take a break. You deserve it. Another thing you can do is to eat and drink nutritious food to aid muscle recovery. We've got to eat good fruits and vegetables. We've got to take in those antioxidants, which help to fight against the injury from oxidative stress, that comes with just being, with just living. We've got to eat the right things to help protect ourselves. And again, for some information on some of the foods that you should eat, look at this. Go to this website here, www.drkadisha.com. And in my special presentation for you, 10 ways to be safe and well during this pandemic, I do go into things that you should eat. I talk about exercise, things like that. The very things that we're supposed to be doing to help ourselves get through this pandemic are some of the very things that we should be doing to help protect ourselves and to help ourselves recover from work-related injury, from repetitive strain injury. And another one is exercise regularly and stay in good shape. Exercising regularly helps our cardiovascular health. It helps us control our weight. Because the more weight we have on our frames, on our skeletons, the more stress there is on our joints, on our bones, on our tendons, our ligaments, our muscles. That extra weight is stress and strain. The extra weight is stress and strain, and that can increase pain. Stress and strain increases pain for sure. So again, exercise regularly, eat and drink nutritious food to aid in muscle recovery. And that's right, Dr. Tanya, drink lots of water. If you ever want a rule of thumb, just consider this. Consider your weight in pounds and drink half that amount in ounces of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, then you should be drinking 100 ounces of water a day to help keep things moving. Water is great because it helps to cleanse the body of toxins. When your muscles are working, they generate enzymes that enter the blood. And when the body is unable to clear away those enzymes created by the work of our muscle, we can become achy, tired, and we just aren't going to function as well. Take a break, quit smoking, make sure that your workstation is ergonomically optimized, and stand up, take time to breathe. Stand up, move, stretch. You deserve it. It's not a luxury. It's something that you need to do so that you can function, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. One of my super friends likes to say that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So don't feel guilty about taking a break if you are exhausted sitting at your desk and can no longer function the way you need to. That's your sign to get up, stretch, get some water. Okay, Dr. Tanya says that she's been stretching in the morning, during the day, and at night, and she can tell a big difference. That's right. Flexibility means so much. And, we tend to take for granted the power of water, the power of breathing, the power of stretching. It just sounds kind of, like foo-foo, but it's real. Our bodies actually need this. So back to the computer. Since so many of us use the computer now, children are using the computer as much as adults. Learn keyboard shortcuts to reduce typing or using the mouse. And you can, print up a little cheat sheet for yourself. And actually, I do have a PDF on this topic coming to you. And hopefully I can set out a reminder for folks to download the PDF on repetitive strain injury and ways to help prevent it and protect yourself against it, and then also address it. But there are keyboard shortcuts you can do to reduce typing or using the mouse. The control, the control alt this, the control shift that, things like that. Command A, command, for possibly select all, command C, copy, command V, paste, command X, cut, things like that. So that way you're not typing so much. And lastly, a very important thing is posture. Make sure that your eyes are level with the top of your screen. Keep your wrists and forearms straight and level with the floor. And your screen should be an arm's length away from you. And make sure that your lower back is supported. And, nowadays there are great stores in the area that sell certain chairs and lumbar supports, things like that. Take advantage of those. Take advantage of those. Consider investing in something made specifically for that instead of, maybe balling up your sweater and putting it down there, behind your back. Consider investing in something, or consider asking your employer to invest in increasing the ergonomic environment in which you and your co-workers are, running their business and generating their revenue. Okay, so let's see, we're at 26 minutes. Hopefully these tips were very helpful for you. And just the basics is take care of yourself. Don't beat yourself up to do your job. You will do your job better if you take better care of yourself. And again, check out the freebie that I have for you. It not only relates to this pandemic, but it relates to self-care and just self-maintenance for us overall to help us do our jobs the best we can. I am Dr. Kadisha. I'm your board certified emergency medicine physician. Check out this freebie I have for you at www.drkadisha.com. You can follow my Instagram channel. It's very active and informative. And definitely let me know in the comments of other topics that you would like to discuss. And I will see you in the next time. Thank you so much for joining me. And get that freebie. Can't get enough water. So get that freebie, guys. See you next time.